Our song is in the key of C. We're not cabled or anything, so we're just going to start out with the C chord, pointer fingers on the first of the B, middle on the second of the D, ring on the third of the A, and that ring finger touches that low E string to make sure that's muted. We're also then going to open up that E string to give us a C over E. Those are real kind of quick changes. And then we have two different F chords we're playing. One is more of an F5, kind of making more like that power chord shape. You don't even need to do the full thing. Sometimes I even just do those two. But if you want to do the complete power chord, pinky, ring finger on the A, pointer on that first fret. And we use that whenever we're doing that palm muting, right? Because we want to get that low string. But whenever we're kind of doing big strums, we're going with more of an F over C, pointer fingers on the first of the B string, middle on the second of the G, ring on the third of the D, ring on the third of the A. Then we're going to mute that low E string as well as that high E string. Just a little bit bigger of a chord, still kind of rings out nicely. Then we're going to have a G, pinky will go on the high E, ring finger on the low E, and we're just going to mute that A string with our ring finger. For A minor, we're gonna play a full A minor, so that's pointer on the G, ring on the pointer on the B string on the first fret, ring on the second of the G, middle on the second of the D. A is open, but we're gonna take that, mute that low E string. And then finally we have a G over B that's pinky back in place, and we'll put our middle finger on the second fret of the A, taking care to mute that low E. And that brings us back to C. All right, let's take a look at our rhythm. Rhythm-wise, we're essentially doing two things. We're doing a 16th note palm muted pattern, which is really just focused on the bass note of every chord. I gave you the full chords in the chord section because I do want, just in case you catch an extra string, you want to be able to have those kind of in place so that you're not getting this by accident or that kind of a thing. So what we're doing is we're keeping a nice, tight 16th note palm muted. If you haven't done the muting lesson, you can check that out. Just do a search for muting, and I find when you have a groove like this, kind of emphasizing that first, like every beat, like helps you lock in. So you get kind of a daka 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 daka, you know. You see there, see how I'm catching extra strings by accident? I'm not even meaning to do it. And so that's why it's important to have those strings and other mutes and that sort of thing. So, but you're essentially just kind of following through that verse. And this is why we have that F5 chord. So you're doing that for both your verses. And then when you hit your chorus, we're doing basically an 8th note down strum, but we have a 16th note pickup every time we change chords. So you get this 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and a 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3. So every time you're changing chords, you're just leading into it. And that kind of handles all your choruses. And then, you know, like I said, for verses, same thing with a bridge, you kind of build on it. You know, as you go, you'll really hear it as the song progresses. But that's it strum-wise. It's just really kind of making sure we keep nice tight palm muting as well as nice open and locked in strumming. So below, what I gave you is the two strum patterns. So the 16th note as well as the one with the pickups. And then also I've got, I do have full speed loops of both the muting of the verse as well as the chorus strumming. So you can really kind of make sure they're locked in. I didn't do any slower ones because it's pretty straightforward. And the song is already relatively slow as it is. So you just kind of loop those, really feel good about them. And let's go on to that next section. Coming in right at the top of this one, hanging on that C with palm muting, and then going into the verse. Main thing to watch for is we don't really ever stop playing. We're kind of playing through the whole thing. So just kind of where those changes happen when we're strumming versus where we're palm muting. I'll call them out as we go as well. All right, let's take it from the top. 2, 3, intro. into verse 1. Remember the walls. A minor. He couldn't escape. The walls are rubble now. Remembered. They were like mountains, but he came and he rose. We do a little lead. 1, 2, 3. This is our God. He loves us. 2, 3, 4. God, this is what he does. He saves us. Grave, let heaven and earth proclaim, this is our God, King Jesus. Big strum here. Verse 2. Remember that fear. Faith so weak. Back in. Story. To save us. This is our God. This is our God. Saves us. Beat the grave. Let heaven and earth proclaim. This is our God, King Jesus. Now pulled me out of that pit. He did. He did. For all of my sin. Nobody but Jesus. Paid for all of my sin. Nobody but Jesus. That grave, Yahweh, Yahweh, you give glory and praise. Nobody but Jesus. You rescued me from the grave. Yahweh, Yahweh, you gave glory and praise. Nobody but him. This is our God. Our God, who saves us. Beat the grave, let heaven and earth proclaim. This is our God, King Jesus. To tag the grave, let heaven and earth proclaim. This is our God, King Jesus. Into the outro. As usual with the acoustic, we have a relatively simple job with this song, but it sounds great in the mix. If you want to work on leading it on your own, be sure to check out the solo acoustic section. Otherwise, practice along with the music video. Good luck. For our solo acoustic section, obviously there's that big melody that happens on all the intros, and we want to be able to carry the energy from it without, and still at the same time hint at that melody. But it's really tricky to get it to stand out and carry the energy, because you have to kind of make real clear individual notes, and then you lose the whole strum. And so what I did instead is I'm gonna throw my pinky out here just to give us like a strong differentiator between the intro and the verse, and the chorus, by keeping that pinky there even though it's not in the main melody. And then I'm gonna add, so still kind of bringing in that little melodic part. So instead of going, you wanted to do that as kind of a quiet intro or like leading in, if you're kind of in the middle of a worship session and you want to like block around, that can work. But once we really kick in, we want to bring in the energy. And so what we're going to do is bring that pinky in there and we'll just start with big strum. What I'm doing is going between a C and a C suspended, all within a 16th note pattern. And then I would, rather than just doing the simple 16th note pattern, I would actually kind of emphasize the 2 and the 4. And you can kind of open up, catch a few more strings so you're kind of carrying the song a little bit better. Drop for that verse. This is our God. This is who He is. He loves us. Just kind of nice big open strums that kind of helps create that dynamic of a down chorus without losing too much. King Jesus, and then back into your drums. And then verse 2, I would do the same thing as I did on verse 1, because the song grooves enough that it doesn't feel like, oh, it needs some kind of lift there. We want to carry the energy in. But those are kind of the main things I would do. Just bring in that little melodic piece that kind of hints at the main melody, as well as just be a little more open, create a little bit more groove, and you'll be able to carry this song just fine. Enjoy. If you're tired of searching the whole internet to look for a decent tutorial, check out worshipartistry.com. We've got over 600 licensed, cohesive song lessons for your whole team. Link is in the description.